let's talk about the relationship between success and money. Is there anything really like success, or is it all just based off of the amount of money that you have? Because I think the society has normalized that success is all about money. I know some people can argue against this, but personally, I do think that there's nothing really about success. I'll have to stand with the society right now because I do believe that in most cases, many things, when one says something is successful or when one deems himself successful, I think they are mostly referring to money, right? And I think I'm going to discuss the scenario, several scenarios that is going to prove my case, my argument, right? First of all, there is career. Talk of when one joins med school, right? You were joining med school, you want to study to be a doctor. In most cases, I know there are some people that could go join med school to help the 12 people save lives, things like that, right? And also be resourceful to the society. But majority of the people, I believe, they're there because of money. And most people build careers to make money, to make a living out of that career. I know it can be a combination of both. Some can have other intentions besides just money, but the key thing is money. Because I remember when we were selecting courses, for to go study. In most cases, people really were not thinking about um, whether they're going to help the society that much. In most cases, they were just thinking about what is the most marketable course, which is that course that is most likely that I can get a job later on and actually make money off of it, actually change my life, improve my life. Sometimes people say that probably, social work and passion, doing courses for passion is a rich person's affair, right? That now, because you have a lot of money and you no longer need money, then that's when now you just follow your passion and do whichever course that you feel like doing, right? But you find that those people who don't have actually a lot of money find that they do courses that are marketable and that there is higher chances or likelihood to actually get a job, right? Which will later on translate to money, right? Secondly, talk about businesses. You see, success in business is based off of the net profits that you're making, and that boils down to money, right? You can't make profits without actually having the money, you know. So having a successful business, that means that this business 100% or 90% has made money, right? I mean, that 10% could be something like creating impact in the society, building people's lives, changing people's lives and improving the society, But the main aim of a business is to generate money, and that is what success is based off of, Third, let's talk about the economy, Things like gross domestic products, those are terms that are used by economists when describing how a country runs. And gross domestic products actually the total valuation of goods and services produced in a country within a year, right? And the valuation is actually in form of money. So you find that when we say that this country is becoming successful, is improving, and is becoming successful, in most cases we refer to money wise. We don't really care about how the people are happy in that country. In most cases, the successful economies is based off of money and how the amount of income levels, unemployment, things like that, you know, and it all boils down to money, right? Also perception, yeah. Perception is the way someone or we can see a certain individual. Let's say, for example, in society, a billionaire is someone who is perceived as someone who is highly intelligent, highly intelligent one, and also successful. Why? Because they have good money, right? Someone who is like Jeff Bezos, for example, yeah, is a billionaire, right? So such a person, most people will perceive him as successful just because he has the money, right? If I had the money and let's say, for example, I don't necessarily have anything else, but I have the money, the first impression that most people will have of me is that I'm successful. Yeah. And also, I think most people also equate success in terms of money to also intelligence, which sometimes cannot be the case. Someone with a lot of money, regardless of whether that person maybe could have inherited that money, I think the first impression that a lot of people might have of that person is that he is successful and he is intelligent. He is successful and he is intelligent, right? Even though all he did is just inherit and be born as a son of being born in a rich family or something like that, right? Maybe they've never worked for that money before, right? But somehow they will be deemed as way intelligent or way successful, right? I mean, talk about anything really. In most cases, a lot of things is just perceived as a lot of success is measured in terms of money. Yeah, talk of third world and first world countries, right? Third world countries, you find that there are no much money, there are less money. A lot of those are countries with people living probably within the poverty line, or there is not much that's produced in that economies, right? Find talk of infrastructure, the infrastructure is not that developed, and you find that most of those things like infrastructure is boils down to money, right? That's why such governments go probably borrowing because they need money to develop things like infrastructure, which probably is gonna attract investors, which is going to eventually improve on the economy, right? And if you find that everything boils down to money. Talk of first world countries, you find that those are people where employment is a lot, yeah, and probably they have got when it comes to loans, you find that the banks there are willing to take risks, with people's ideas, and they can fund, which leads to businesses and creates a lot of employment, right? But if you come to a third world country, you find that there is not much going on, right? Because the banks are even way stingy. They're not willing to take risks really. They find that they preserve their money instead of actually taking risks and betting on people's ideas. And so you find that all these economies, all these factors, the success is based purely on money, right? Yeah. What do you think? What is your idea on success? Do you think it's all monetary or it's just sometimes not monetary? And do you consider success as money? Because I do. I do think that most people, you know, look at money to conclude or to make that conclusion that someone is successful or not. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Of course, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Yeah. Bye.